Unit 5. Countries and Places. Lesson 1. How was your trip? 2. Listen and understand.
Now, today, we plan to have our presentations about our hometowns. Is everyone ready? Okay. Somchai, would you like to start?
Sure. Well, I come from a city in Thailand called Pattaya. It's about an hour and a half from Bangkok. It's on the coast, and it has some beautiful beaches. Lots of tourists go there, and there are a lot of hotels and guest houses. It has a warm climate all year round. That's it.
Great. Thanks, Somchai. It sounds like a beautiful place. Okay, Luis?
Good morning, everyone. I come from South America, and I'm from Sao Paulo, which is the biggest city in Brazil. It's west of the city of Rio de Janeiro, which is one of our most famous tourist spots. Sao Paulo is a really interesting place, but it's very crowded. Many people do business or industrial work. Thank you.
That was excellent, Luis. Now, let's hear from Ya Ping.
I come from a city in the south of Taiwan called Kaohsiung. It's a busy port city with many factories. It's not far from the city of Tainan. There are very good restaurants in Kaohsiung, and it has a warm climate for most of the year.
Very good, Ya Ping. I bet the food is good. Now, who's next? Okay, Jae-won, your turn.
Hi, I come from South Korea, from a city called Busan. It's in the south of the Korean peninsula, about 4 hours by train from the capital Seoul. It has a population of 3.7 million. It's the second largest city in the country, and it's an important seaport. It's also across the sea from the city of Fukuoka in Japan. So many Japanese visitors go there for shopping. Thank you.
Terrific, Jae-won. Okay, everyone. Now let's look at...
3. Listen and understand. 1.
Have you ever been to Hong Kong?
Yes. I went there for a vacation last July.
How was it?
I found it very crowded, actually. The streets were always full of people, and it was really hot and humid.
What a pity.
And I didn't buy anything because the prices were too high.
Oh, that's too bad.
Next time, I'll go in December or January when it's not so hot.
2.
I went to New Zealand last summer.
That's great! What did you think of it?
Oh, you should definitely go there sometime. Everything is so green and clean. And the people are very friendly, too.
It sounds really nice.
I'd love to go back one day. I only had 7 days there. Next time, I'd like to go for a month.
3.
It was my first trip to Taiwan.
Was it? I thought you had been there before.
No, it was my first time.
And how was it?
Oh, everyone I met was so nice.
That's terrific.
I tried a lot of the local food, and it was delicious. There are some great stores in Taipei, and I bought a lot of things to take home. Prices are much cheaper than here.
4.
I found London very expensive.
Oh, really? What a shame.
I know. Even a cup of coffee costs about $5 there.
Wow. That's a lot. What about the weather?
I was there in the summer, but the weather was quite cool, and it rained every day.
That's too bad.
People tell me it's better to go in the spring.
5.
How was your trip to Japan?
I really had a great time.
That's nice.
The train system is excellent and it's very easy to get around. Plus, Tokyo is such an interesting place. It has everything. Big stores, lovely parks, interesting old streets, and great food.
Sounds great.
I'd really recommend it.
4. Tune in. Part A. Pleasure.
I went to New Zealand last summer.
That's great.
Everyone I met was so nice.
That's terrific. I really had a great time.
That's nice.
Disappointment.
It was very hot and humid.
What a pity.
The prices were too high.
That's too bad.
I found London very expensive.
What a shame.
4. Tune in. Part B. 1.
There are a lot of beaches near my hometown.
That's nice. I guess you can go swimming in the summer.
2.
The winter is beautiful in my city.
That's great. Do you get snow? I love snow.
3.
My mom and dad are moving to Chicago.
That's too bad. You're really going to miss them, aren't you?
4.
They've built a new mall near the airport.
What a pity. There used to be a beautiful park right there.
5.
We have an international student staying with us.
That's terrific. I bet you have lots of interesting conversations.
6.
We've decided to go back to Boston early.
What a shame. I thought you could stay longer.
Unit 5. Countries and Places. Lesson 2. What's life like there? 2. Listen and understand. 1.
Are houses expensive in your country?
Yes, they are. For example, a 3-bedroom house costs over $500,000.
Wow, that is expensive.
Isn't it? So most people don't buy one. They usually just rent. And actually, more people live in apartments.
Really? That's interesting. So what about you? Do you live in a house or an apartment?
My family lives in an apartment, but we actually own it.
2.
Do children learn English at school in your country?
Oh, definitely. Kids start learning English at the age of 7. In high school, students also have to learn another foreign language, usually Spanish or French.
What about Asian languages?
Oh, yeah. They're becoming more popular these days.
3.
Do you have big families in your country?
Most families are quite small, with 2 or 3 children, but often the grandparents also live with the family.
I see. How does that work out?
Fine. Both parents usually work, so the grandparents look after the young children.
4.
Is traffic a problem in your country?
Yes. Most people drive cars, so the roads are crowded. The public transportation system isn't very good.
Isn't there a subway system?
No. And the public buses are pretty bad.
So what about children? How do they get to school?
Oh, we have school buses.
5.
What do people in your country do to relax?
Well, they play sports, or they go to the beach or go hiking.
Uh-huh. And what do older people do?
Well, gardening is popular with older people.
Oh? And what about children?
Well, they're like kids everywhere. They like watching TV, playing computer games, and going to the mall.
3. Listen and understand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Traveler. Today on our show, we have a visitor from New Zealand. Welcome to the program, Areta.
Thank you, or as we say in our Maori language, kia ora.
Now, I have a lot of questions to ask you about your beautiful country. First of all, how big is it?
It's about the same size as Japan or Great Britain.
I see. So is the population similar to those countries as well?
Oh no, it's much smaller. Only about 4 million people live in New Zealand.
Really? And are most of the people originally from England?
Yes, a lot are. But about 14% of the people are native people, or Maori, like me. Among the rest of the population, many are originally from England and Scotland, and we also have many people from Asia and the Pacific.
That's very interesting. Now, I've heard people call New Zealanders Kiwis. Why is that?
Well, it's the name of our most famous bird.
Uh-huh. What kind of bird is it?
It's a small, unusual bird that can only be found in New Zealand. It can't fly, and it only comes out at night. It's quite rare. I've only seen them in zoos myself.
Very interesting. Do you have other unusual animals in New Zealand?
We do have quite a few, but the really fascinating thing about New Zealand is that none of our wild animals are dangerous, and we have no snakes in the entire country.
Really? That is fascinating. What are some other interesting things about New Zealand that we should know about?
Well, our geography is pretty amazing, and we have some really stunning scenery.
Oh? What kind of scenery do you have?
We have beautiful mountains, clean beaches, and lots of green countryside. In fact, 1/4 of New Zealand is still natural forest.
I see. And what's the climate like?
The warmest months are December, January, and February. The temperature then is between 20 and 30 degrees.
Really? What are the coldest months then?
June, July, and August.
Wow, that's fascinating. It's just the opposite in many countries. Now, tell me a little bit more about the Maori people. Are they particularly...
4. Tune in. Part A.
Well, gardening is popular with older people.
Oh? And what about children?
Only about 4 million people live in New Zealand.
Really? And are most of the people originally from England?
Well, it's the name of our most famous bird.
Uh-huh. What kind of bird is it?
4. Tune in. Part B. 1.
Most people live in smaller apartments.
Oh? And is it cheap to rent an apartment there?
2.
Sports are very popular in my country.
Really? Do you have any famous sports stars?
3.
Many people go to work by car.
Oh? So cars aren't very expensive then?
4.
There are both public and private schools in many cities.
Uh-huh. And are public schools more popular?
5.
Most people work from 9 to 5 and get paid vacations.
Uh-huh. And how many weeks of vacation do they get per year?